welcome back. I just got out of my appointment today, and I was originally supposed to come up to Boston for just a bone scan at like 4:40. It's only 1:36 right now. But my team wanted to see me because of like the symptoms that I'm having, and just everything's been a mess. So I saw my actual transplant doctor today. Usually I see the nurse that works with him, and I love her. I also love my transplant doctor. He's great too. So I saw him today, and we kind of went over everything, and he said he presented my case in front of like a panel of other transplant doctors, and that nobody has seen the constellation of symptoms that I'm having, which is frustrating, but like par for the course for my life with this disease, which is frustrating, and I've got feelings about that. If it's long odds, they're for me, and I'll probably have the problems. But it's always been my life, and I just thought at some point that maybe because of this transplant that I would be more normal with like a normal person's bone marrow and stuff, and like that does not seem to be the case. He said if my albumin, which is a protein, was low, which is a common thing post-transplant, that like he would know exactly what to do and what this is and everything else. But he said that I have some of the best albumin numbers post-transplant that he's ever seen. And like that, how? But whatever. So we're not changing any of my meds right now because the Rezurock, which is the new med that I just started a few weeks ago, takes a while to work, and I'm having some results already, but he said it's going to be slow. My like ridiculous rapid weight gain is probably going to be slow to come off, which sucks, but like whatever. I beat myself up a ton because I don't look anything like I used to look. I don't look like what I looked like, 2 months ago or even 3 months ago. So like that's really hard. And it's hard not to blame yourself and be like, maybe I'm eating too much, or maybe I'm not eating the right stuff. So I started counting calories, and, I stopped some of the snacking I was doing, which wasn't even a lot. And it's made absolutely zero difference in my weight. And like, I'm stressing myself out thinking it's something I can change because I want it to be in my control, and I can't. So it was almost reassuring to hear that today, that like it's not my fault. And then he did say that I do have graft versus host disease, which I've been like waiting for them to finally tell me that that's a thing, because like I've been doing a ton of research, and I've been thinking that that's what it was, of like my muscles, fascia, and joints. But that's also kind of a rare complication. You can get GVHD anywhere in the body, any organ system or whatever, but the joints and the fascia and stuff is a less common presentation. And like that just, I guess, is what it is. But it's like destroyed my legs. I don't even remember if I said that in the beginning of this or not, but my legs, it almost looks like I have like cellulite, but I've never had cellulite. And even over the summer when I was like wicked active and I was chewing the most and I felt great, I started to notice changes in my legs, but I wasn't sure what it was. And now it's like incredibly prominent, and like I have scar tissue that has developed over like large portions of my body under the skin. So it's not something that you can like, it doesn't look like a burn or anything, but like my skin is rippled because of how the scar tissue pulls down, and like that just is what it is. But the med that I'm on, the Rezurock, is supposed to be able to reverse some of that scar tissue, so there's hope that what's been done can be undone. And then I also have to have another pulmonary function test done when I come back up in 2 weeks on December 23rd, because I've been having some issues with shortness of breath, and whether that's related to like my kidney function or the fluid overload that I'm dealing with, we don't really know. So they want to figure that out, because if I have lung GVHD, that changes a lot. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. But the Lasix that I'm on are working. to some extent. They're not working as well as they were before. It's almost like when we first started them, like it really helped. It took the edge off. It made things so much better. I didn't feel like I was going to pop. And then it seems like things have just kind of progressively gotten a little bit worse. But because we haven't upped my Lasix, I'm seeing like a little bit of a decline in like their functionality almost. Which is, it is what it is. It's frustrating, but here we are. And my kidney function is declining slightly every time I do blood work, which right now is like every 2 weeks. So they will not up my Lasix. And we talked about it last week, but my numbers were still in the normal range. Now they're slightly out of normal range for my GFR, which is like the filtration rate of your kidneys. And then my creatinine. And my GFR went down. Yeah, it dropped, and my creatinine went up, which your creatinine is like a byproduct of, it's like a toxin or whatever in your kidneys. Get rid of it. And when your kidneys don't work well, that increases because it can't get rid of it. And then I also did a 24-hour urine collection or whatever, because a spot protein that they did, which is where they just dip a dipstick in it to check if it's positive for protein, came back positive for protein. So they wanted to do a 24-hour urine collection and make sure I'm not like dumping protein. And that came back positive, but I already like talked to my transplant doctor since I left, and he said that like it's pretty mild. So he's not too concerned that it's like maybe like primarily my kidneys, and maybe it's like due to the Lasix, and that my kidneys just cannot really handle the Lasix right now. So we're just gonna try to ride it out a bit. With like just where we're at on the dose. We don't really want to change it much. I don't know. It was a good and bad appointment. Like, it was good because we talked about how like this kind of sucks, and it sucks for several reasons. But like today's day 300, and that's amazing. My like hematological side of things, so like my my cell counts and stuff, all of that is looking really good. My chemistry panel, so like most of your organ function, and like electrolytes and stuff, all of that's beautiful. I do have like some abnormalities in my lab work, but like that's kind of to be expected with dealing with chronic graft versus host disease. So I'm gonna start tapering my prednisone tomorrow. I have to do a little bit of a taper instead of just dropping back down to the 10, because they said that I'm just gonna crash and that'll suck. And then we got to give these other meds a little while to work. And if they don't work or they're not working efficiently enough, I do have a few more options to try, I think, before we get into clinical trials. One of them's an infusion, and the other one is, it's almost like dialysis, but it's not. It's called ECP, and it's where they take your blood out, like through a whole system. They clean it, and I don't remember what they remove. They remove something from it, and then they like blast it with infrared light therapy, and then they put it back into your body. But that's like 4 to 6 hour procedures, and depending on like how severe your GVHD is, sometimes it's multiple times a week, sometimes it's once a week, but I'd have to come up to Boston for it. It's a whole day. So I'm hoping maybe I can just stay on these meds for now. And like, GVHD is a risk. We knew it was a risk. But in theory, I'm healthier than I was before transplant. So like, I don't know. This life is just complicated and hard, and I gotta learn to love myself more. So thanks for staying tuned. I think we're gonna try to record either tonight or tomorrow night, but I've just been like shot, so that's why I'm trying to just film this I sound so old. I'm trying to record this to be able to post a little bit of an update. But you know, like, share, subscribe. I love that we've gotten in touch with like more and more people with CTLA4, and it's spreading awareness, because this is tough and it's lonely and it's hard. So if you're out there and you're struggling, like, share, subscribe, hit me up. Let's talk.